1,000 years ago, the village of Kookoo in Rajasthan was an entirely unremarkable place. People farmed the arid land, grazed their cattle, and lived out their lives dictated by the simple, repetitive rhythms of agriculture. Among them was a local farmer named Kishan Lal. His prized possession was a white cow named Dolari, known throughout the community for producing an unusually high volume of milk. But Katu's predictable routine broke when Dolari started exhibiting strange behavior. Every day, she would wander to a specific spot on the outskirts of the village, a small mound scattered with white sandstone. There, she would stop completely still, and her milk would spontaneously flow directly into the dry earth without anyone milking her. At first, Kishan Lal thought the cow was sick, but the village veterinarian found nothing wrong. As the phenomenon continued, rumors quickly spread. Some suspected a bad omen, while others thought treasure lay below. But an 85-year-old elder named Sumitra Devi offered a different explanation. When the earth wants to speak, she said, it uses innocent creatures to send the message. The residents of this quiet farming outpost didn't know it yet, but their land was hiding something. The daily anomaly with the cow was the surface evidence of an ancient truth attempting to make itself known. The village chief, Ram Singh Chauhan, called a gathering. Digging up the land based on local superstition carried the risk of public embarrassment if they found nothing. But driven by the elders' insistence and the undeniable physical evidence of the cow's behavior, a team of young men took up shovels and began to dig. For 2 days, they pulled up nothing but dirt and rocks. Morale dropped. But on the third day, right as the sun hit its peak, Kishan Lal's pickaxe struck something solid. It didn't sound like stone. As they brushed away the sand, a face emerged. It was a human head made of black stone. The eyes were closed, a serene smile rested on the lips, and a distinct tilak mark was carved into the forehead. Observers noted the artifact seemed to radiate a palpable energy. News of the unearthing reached the regional ruler, King Rup Singh Chauhan. 7 nights later, the king woke from a highly specific dream. A mighty warrior had appeared to him, identifying himself as Barbaric, a combatant from the ancient Mahabharata era. The figure issued a clear directive. He was to be worshipped in the modern age as Shyam, and a temple must be built on that exact spot. To find the head of a warrior from the Kurukshetra War buried here requires looking back to a time when his unique powers posed a threat to the survival of the entire world. To understand the artifact, we have to look at the entity it belonged to. Barbaric was born with a fearsome genetic pedigree. He was the grandson of Bhima, the powerhouse of the Pandavas, and the son of Ghadakacha, a demon prince. This lineage gave him a rare combination of human tactical brilliance and supernatural raw strength. Knowing his potential, his mother sent him to the Himalayas to meditate. For 12 uninterrupted years, he worshipped the warrior goddess Durga. In return for his extreme dedication, she granted him an infallible weapon system, a bow, and 3 divine arrows. These arrows utilized a 2-stage targeting sequence. The first arrow would fly across a battlefield and paint a red mark on every specific enemy Barbaric intended to destroy. The second arrow then deployed to paint a blue mark on every ally he wished to protect. Once the targets were identified, the third arrow launches. It would move at blinding speed, systematically striking every red mark target, while leaving the blue marks untouched, before returning to the quiver. But hardware is only as good as its software. Barbaric's operating code came from a strict vow he made to his mother, Ahilawati. He promised her that if he ever entered a conflict, he would only fight for the faction that was actively losing. He was armed with a weapon capable of instant mass destruction, governed by a rigid moral obligation to aid the underdog. As the Great Kurukshetra War looming, this combination turned Barbaric into a strategic nightmare for the commanders on both sides. Lord Krishna, the chief strategist of the Pandavas, saw the fatal flaw in Barbaric's vow. If Barbaric joined the weaker army, his overwhelming power would immediately start destroying the stronger side. The moment that stronger side starts losing, his vow would force him to switch teams. He would bounce back and forth, decimating both armies until he was the only person left alive. To verify this threat, Krishna disguised himself and challenged Barbaric to pierce every leaf on a large peepal tree with a single shot. Barbaric fired. The arrow rapidly marked every single leaf on the tree before suddenly dropping down and hovering near Krishna's foot. Krishna had secretly hidden a leaf under his shoe, and the arrow's tracking system found it anyway. Realizing that Barbaric's participation guaranteed mutually assured destruction, Krishna revealed his divine form. He asked the warrior for the ultimate pre-war charity, his own head. Bound by honor, Barbaric agreed to decapitate himself, but asked for one final wish. He wanted to watch the epic battle unfold. Krishna accepted the terms. He infused the severed head with a preservative nectar and placed it on a high vantage point overlooking the Kurukshetra battlefield. For his immense sacrifice, Krishna gave him a blessing. In the coming dark age, the Kali Yuga, Barbaric would be worshipped by Krishna's own name, Shyam. By sitting out the fighting, Barbaric prevented total global annihilation. His apparent defeat and death secured the balance of the world, transitioning him from an active weapon of mass destruction into an eternal, watchful presence. Fast forward back to 1027 AD. Near the site where the head was unearthed, a basin of water formed almost overnight. Known as Shyam Kund, it remains full of cold, sweet water to this day. Geologists have surveyed the area and failed to locate an underground aquifer feeding it, yet the water level holds steady even through severe regional droughts. The temple built around it exhibits a similar defiance of natural logic. Over the centuries, it avoided destruction from invading armies and local rebellions. In 1971, when devastating floods swept through Rajasthan and submerged surrounding towns in feet of muddy water, the Khatu Shyam temple complex remained entirely dry. This history of resilience is mirrored in the modern accounts of those who visit the Shyam Kund. Specific testimonies, such as those from Priya Sharma, who saw her leukemia cells disappear after bathing, or Ganga Devi, who recovered from 15 years of paralysis, have built a reputation for the site that defies conventional medical explanation. These individual stories have fueled a massive modern pilgrimage. Millions undertake the Nishan Yatra, an 18-kilometer walk carrying a flag to the temple. The sheer volume of this migration creates staggering crowds around the water tank, transforming the rural landscape into a dense sea of devotees. People don't walk 18 kilometers just for a story. They go because Barbaric's ancient vow to support the losing side translates directly to modern anxieties. For those facing ruin or disease, the buried head of Khatu offers a tangible anchor, suggesting that the most powerful force in the world is the one that stands by the defeated.